Logan responded again, and this time we got a totally different person. So after Logan got called out by CoffeeZilla, Logan's first two responses were pretty combative. He called Coffee a criminal, he called him a liar, he called him manipulative, he called him a lot of things. And Logan finally just released something that's much different. Logan tweeted, "My 3-step plan for CryptoZoo, including a $1.3 million rewards program for disappointed players. Thank you, Coffee Break YouTube." That's CoffeeZilla. Isn't it weird to go from one day calling somebody a criminal and a liar and then saying thank you? What happened? Let's watch this together.
CoffeeZilla is not a criminal. I called him, I apologized. My initial response to his series was that of fire, an ego flare, whatever it is, pride. I'm a fighter at heart, and I was defensive because I know I never scammed anyone with this project. I never made any money, never sold any tokens, and I only had the best intentions going in.
So this is, there's so many different things that he just said. If you just take a second to think about what he said, I think it's funny. Again, he says, I never had any ill intentions going in. He still hasn't talked about the text messages that I talked about in my last video, where he literally plans a pump and dump. These leaked messages that CoffeeZilla released show that he did plan a pump and dump. I also like that he gives the excuse that he called CoffeeZilla a criminal because he's a fighter, and his response was fiery. He's like, "Oh, I just have a little bit of personality in me. That's all. It's not, I didn't mean to call you a criminal. I didn't mean to slander you. That totally wasn't libel, okay? I promise."
But the fact is that suing CoffeeZilla is not going to help CryptoZoo holders, so I do need to focus my attention where it should be, which is on fans and supporters of me. You guys.
Suing CoffeeZilla is not going to help CryptoZoo holders. Suing CoffeeZilla is not going to help CryptoZoo holders. He didn't say it's not the right thing to do. He didn't say that I don't want to do it. He said it's not going to help holders. Now, I think from this video, I think a lawyer got into Logan's head, and not a lawyer that's in his like little circle of yes men. I think like a real lawyer scared the crap out of Logan. And, well, you'll see what I mean.
You guys mean the world to me, so I'd like to announce my 3-step plan moving forward. Step 1, Jeff and I are going to burn our Zoo tokens so we have no financial upside in the game, and it will add value to holder tokens. Step 2, we want to offer a rewards program for players who are disappointed in the status of the game. So essentially you're going to be able to burn your base egg or your base animal for the mint price, which was 0.1 ETH or the equivalent in BNB. I am personally committing 1,000 ETH to this, which is about $1.3 million right now for players who want to get out.
Now that's actually pretty cool. Step 1, he's burning his own tokens, which means they're just getting rid of the founder tokens. While I do have a problem with the argument that getting rid of these will increase the value of all of them. I mean, if you have a worthless currency, getting rid of a little bit of it isn't going to make a huge difference. I do think his step 2 is pretty cool. And I do think it's actually cool that he's offering 1,000 Ethereum to people who just want their money back. It does suck that it took over a year to get to this point for him to offer this. And it took CoffeeZilla having to make 3 videos on this topic for him to do it and him getting massively exposed. But I genuinely think that if you sat down with like a good business lawyer and said, "How screwed am I?" they would say, "You are very screwed. You have a good chance of going to jail. And I think these are the things you need to do to show that you're acting in good faith here." So credit to Logan. He's finally done like the legally minimal actions needed to try and stay out of jail.
Obviously finish and deliver the game as outlined in the white paper by completing the egg bridge from ETH to BSC for base animals and base eggs, completing the marketplace, and obviously completing the releasing your animals into the wild to accrue your yield function.
Finishing the game. Step 3 is finishing the game. Now this has been a big crux of Logan's counter argument this entire time, is that we never stopped working on the game. We were always going to finish the game. CoffeeZilla, you don't get to decide when we're done with development or not. They had completely abandoned this game. They had already started working on 2 new crypto projects. And I always say projects in quote because I feel like a project is something that adds value to the world. A project is something that innovates. A project is something that creates something new. Like, it doesn't have to be a utility, but maybe it's a game. Maybe maybe you brought some joy into somebody's life. Maybe you entertained them. These projects don't do any of that. They don't add any real value. They create nothing into the world. It's it's just waste. And for the people behind them, it's more than waste. It's pure profit. So I just have a hard time believing that any of these projects are actually anything innovative. The motivation from the start always seems to be to make money. And I think it's a very good thing that Logan is going to be finishing this game, but I have a hard time believing that anyone's going to be excited for this. There are rumors, and I have seen discords of victims of CryptoZoo planning a class action lawsuit. I'm not going to post screenshots because I don't want them to be disrupted. I would much rather them be successful and continue planning and exchanging evidence in peace. But just know that these things exist. And Logan, I believe, is doing this out of fear.
I am disappointed in how this was handled internally is an understatement. There's a full internal investigation going on along with an audit, and we are going to pursue full legal action for whomever needs to be held accountable.
So this is really weird to me because he says that he's very disappointed how this was handled internally. Internally where, Logan? Within your own inner circle? And I also think that it's very weird and disappointing that it took until now for him to come to the point where he says, oh, we're going to do a full investigation and an audit. According to his story, he got scammed by the people working for him. They stole $1 million of his development money for this project. And he basically blew it off. He said, whatever, I don't care, it's over. And moved on with his life. And now he's going to investigate. I genuinely think Logan is so rich and reckless that he does not care. Losing $1 million to him in an attempted scam doesn't matter. I think he's happy to just look past it. And I think the only other reasonable reason for him to not pursue people that stole $1 million+ from him is maybe he's afraid of what the investigation will uncover. Because if somebody stole $1 million from me, you bet I would be calling the cops. I would be filing reports in whatever countries those people lived in and stole my money and fled to. You bet I would be on the phone trying to get my $1 million. And if the $1 million was money that I raised from my fans, it would be even 10 times that. That for him to just have not cared for a year is really weird. And so it really does suggest to me that if there's a real investigation, not a we investigated ourselves and found that we did nothing wrong kind of investigation. I think if there's a real investigation from the police or the feds, I think he's terrified of what's going to come out. And that's why he didn't ever pursue anything until now.
If any money is recovered in the process, it'll go right to the community. My sole obligation is to my supporters, and I know this video is long overdue. Here it is. I'm sorry, guys.
How much of this do you think a lawyer wrote? If any of this money is recovered, it's going to go to my supporters, to the community. That's literally like, I genuinely think a lawyer wrote this, because if they get any money back and the class action lawsuit goes through from his victims, the money will belong to them legally. So it's not like he's some generous guy giving money away. Like, he has a legal obligation to do this, and he still could be in legal trouble even if he does do this.
I apologize for how this has unfolded thus far, and I want people to know that they can trust me and that I'll always take care of the fans and people who support me. I appreciate your guys' patience.
I'll always take care of the fans and the people that support me. He should have put a big asterisk on the screen that said, like, only when I'm called out by a big YouTuber. Only when somebody with 2 million subs makes 3 videos on me, then I'll really look out for my fan. But otherwise, not really.
While we do our internal investigation, and I promise to be transparent and disclose any information we find out in the process. And lastly, thank you, CoffeeZilla. You have catalyzed this, and I am very grateful for your work and your investigation. And I mean that. Thank you, bro.
You're very grateful for his work and investigation, and thank you, bro. You called him a manipulative criminal liar multiple times in your last 2 videos. What's up with the change of heart? Now, right before this happened, I tweeted, the Logan Paul cycle is repeating. 1, Logan has a controversy big enough to threaten his career. 2, he's accused of animal abuse immediately after the big controversy. 3, he defends himself and says he did nothing wrong. You are here. 4, Logan apologizes. 5, repeat. So history really is repeating itself. We really did just get another I have made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment moment. Like, that's what that was. And I don't know who is Dr. Jekyll and who is Mr. Hyde? Who is the real Logan? Because when he's calling out coffeezilla and calling him a liar and a criminal, he's very passionate. It seems like he's speaking from the heart. And when he's apologizing and saying he's going to fix things, it looks like he's reading off a script from a lawyer. And you know what? I got to give Logan credit. He did say the right things. He did say exactly what I would want to hear if I was a victim of CryptoZoo. It just sucks that it took so long and so much pain to get to this point. So I hope that some of this money is recovered for the victims, and I hope that Logan makes this right. Now, he made a lot of promises in that video, and I know this is going to fade out of the internet news cycle immediately. I'm not going to forget. I'm going to keep coming back to this, and if he doesn't make good on these promises, I will make another video about this calling Logan out, because he has got to try and track down that $1 million and make this right for people. And I think it's great that he's putting up 1,000 Ethereum for people to cash in their eggs and stuff that they bought from this project. I hope he actually does that. So I'll keep an eye on that. I'll make you guys an update. And once people start actually getting money out and using that 1,000 Ethereum he put up, I'll make another update saying, hey, it worked, it's going well. Or, hey, this never happened. He said he would do it and it didn't happen. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to definitely keep an eye on this situation. I really appreciate all of you that watched, subscribed, and I'll see you next time. Peace.